It is 2026. If you are still paying $20 a month for a generic chatbot, you are losing money. The landscape has shifted. I just audited the top 50 AI tools, testing everything from DeepSeek R1 to the new Sora 2 integration. The verdict is clear. Most of the tools you relied on in 2025 are now obsolete. I found free tiers on Gemini 3 that outperform last year's paid models. I found expensive enterprise wrappers that are just slow API calls to Claude 4.5. You need to stop paying for those immediately. Today, I am ranking the only 10 tools that survive my tests. We are cutting the bloat. The tool taking the #1 spot is a single platform that replaced 3 of my other subscriptions, and the efficiency score was double anything else on the market. Let us fix your credit card statement. Number 10 is Gamma. If you are still manually dragging text boxes around in PowerPoint, you are wasting hours every week. I pitted Gamma against the latest Microsoft 365 Copilot update. The test was a single prompt. Create a 10-slide pitch deck for a subscription-based urban farming startup. Copilot gave me generic layouts with mismatched fonts that needed 20 minutes of cleanup. Gamma finished the entire deck in 40 seconds. The design was cohesive, the stock images matched the context, and the text structure actually followed a logical narrative flow. But the reason Gamma stays on my list for 2026 is the new interactive mode. I tested this by embedding a live financial model directly into slide 4. It did not just take a static screenshot. The chart remained active. I could adjust variables right there in the presentation view. It effectively turns your slide deck into a live web page. The free tier is generous, giving you 400 credits a month. That is enough to generate about 3 full decks without paying a cent. The Plus plan is $8 a month. Considering this replaces a designer, the ROI is immediate. The verdict? Buy it. If you are a consultant, student, or founder, this is the fastest way to go from idea to presentation. Number 9 is ElevenLabs V3. Close your eyes for a second. Listen to this clip. I never actually recorded the sentence in a studio, but the intonation matches my persona perfectly. Okay, open them. Could you tell if that was the original recording or the clone? That is the power of the new V3 conversational model. In 2025, the issue was not quality. It was speed. I ran a latency test on the new V3 endpoint against the old Turbo V2.5. The old model averaged a 2-second delay. The V3 model clocked in at under 350 milliseconds. That is effectively instant. This upgrade finally makes real-time, two-way voice conversation possible without those awkward robotic pauses. But we have to talk about the billing. It is the catch. ElevenLabs uses a credit system based on character count, not time. The starter plan is $5 a month for 30,000 characters. That sounds generous, but it translates to roughly 30 minutes of generated audio. If you are a podcaster, you will burn through that in a single weekend. You will likely be forced into the $22 creator plan. The verdict? Buy it. If you need studio-quality voiceovers, this is the undisputed gold standard. If you just want articles read aloud, save your money and use a free browser extension. Number 8 is the tool that finally made me delete my default search engine bookmark, Perplexity Pro. In 2026, a standard Google search for complex topics feels like digging through a junkyard. You are dodging sponsored ads and wading through SEO fluff just to find a simple answer. I ran a direct comparison with a difficult query. Identify the top 3 reliable suppliers for biodegradable packaging in Vietnam with a minimum order quantity under 500 units. Google gave me 10 blue links. I had to open 7 tabs and hunt for the data myself. Perplexity, using its new deep research mode, acted like an analyst. It autonomously browsed, verified shipping policies, and delivered a clean comparison table with contact emails. It took 20 seconds to do what would have taken me 40 minutes on Google. But the killer feature for the Pro tier is unlimited file uploads. I uploaded 30 separate PDF financial reports into a Perplexity collection and asked it to find contradicting revenue projections. It did not hallucinate. It pinpointed the exact page numbers where Report A disagreed with Report B. The price is $20 a month. Remember, Perplexity Pro lets you toggle between GPT-5, Claude 4.5, and Gemini 3 Pro for every answer. You are paying for one tool and getting access to the best models from every major lab. The verdict? Buy it. If your job involves finding answers rather than hunting for links, this replaces Google entirely. Before we get to the heavy hitters, if you want the full database of prompts I use to test these tools, check the link in the description. It is free and will save you hours of trial and error. Number 7 is Sora 2. I recently typed a prompt for a documentary-style close-up of a glassblower working in a Venice studio. In previous versions, the glass would have melted into the hands. With Sora 2, the physics were flawless. The glass moved like a liquid. But the real leap here is the native audio integration. The video included the specific roar of the furnace and the clinking of tools perfectly synced. It generated a broadcast-ready 1080p clip in one shot. However, we need to talk about the friction. This tool is incredible, but it is painful to use. I timed the generation. That single 60-second clip took nearly 12 minutes to render. You cannot iterate quickly at that speed. If you get the prompt wrong, you have lost 12 minutes and a significant chunk of your credits, and the price is steep. OpenAI has locked Sora 2 behind the new Creative Pro add-on, bringing your total monthly bill to $50. Think of Sora 2 like a Ferrari. It is an engineering marvel, but it is terrible for your daily commute. For 99% of you, other tools are still better because they are faster and cheaper. The verdict? Wait, unless you are a professional studio, the cost per second is too high. Let the technology mature. This brings us to number 6, the tool that beats Sora by simply being usable. Runway Gen-4. While Sora 2 is a $50 luxury item, Runway is a functional production suite. The feature that puts it ahead is visual memory. In 2025, video AI had a fatal flaw called character consistency. If you generated a character in shot 1, they looked like a different person by shot 2. I tested Gen 4 with a continuity challenge. I created a cyberpunk detective with a specific neon scar on his left cheek. I generated 3 scenarios: walking in rain, sitting in a bar, and running in sunlight. I fed the initial generation into the visual memory bank. The results were startling. The scar stayed on the left cheek every time. The facial structure remained rigid. It looked like the same actor filmed on the same day. When I tried this in Sora 2, the character's face changed shape in every clip. Runway also respects your time. Gen 4 delivered these previews in under 60 seconds. The standard plan is $15 a month. That gives you 625 credits. Because the controls are precise, you are not burning credits on random guesses. The verdict? Buy it. Sora is for wowing your friends. Runway is for finishing your project. Number 5 is Cursor. Even if you are not a coder, do not skip this section. This tool has effectively lowered the barrier to entry for building software to zero. In 2025, coding assistants were essentially fancy autocomplete. Cursor's new agent mode changes the physics of development. I tested this on a broken web application where the login page was non-functional. I did not touch the code files. I simply opened the Composer window and typed. Fix the login logic and add a forgot password link. I took my hands off the keyboard. Cursor did not just suggest a snippet. It autonomously scanned my project folder, found the authentication file, identified the missing event listener, and rewrote the code itself. It even opened the terminal to install a missing security package. It took 45 seconds. When I refreshed the browser, the login worked perfectly. The Pro plan costs $20 a month. Considering this tool effectively replaces a junior developer for basic tasks, the value is undeniable. The verdict? Essential. Whether you are a senior engineer automating grunt work or a founder who does not know Python from Java, Cursor is the most powerful productivity tool on the market. If you are finding value in this list so far, hit that subscribe button. We are about to cover the top 4 tools that are completely reshaping the industry. Number 4 is Midjourney V7. If you think this is still just a JPEG generator, you are using it wrong. In 2026, Midjourney has effectively become a 3D asset pipeline. The V7 update introduced native 3D object export. I tested this with a prompt for a low-poly sci-fi helmet in OBJ format. In previous versions, this would have been a flat picture. This time, it generated the actual downloadable mesh file. I imported the result directly into Blender. The topology was clean, and the texture mapping was applied. It saved me about 4 hours of manual modeling. But the feature that actually keeps me subscribed is the new personalization toggle. I ran a blind test. I entered the prompt portrait of a mechanic into a fresh account and my personalized account simultaneously. The fresh account gave me the usual over-polished AI look. My personalized account, which has learned I prefer film grain, delivered a gritty, photorealistic image that looked like it was shot on 35mm film. It stops guessing what the average person wants and starts predicting what you want. The basic plan is $10 a month. The verdict? Buy it. Don't rely on the free image generators included in ChatGPT. They are toys compared to this. Number 3 is Claude 4.5 Sonnet. If you are still copying code from a chatbot into a text editor, you are doing it the hard way. While the internet was distracted by GPT-5's voice features, Anthropic released the feature that actually matters. Imagine with Claude. In 2025, we had Artifacts, which was just a static preview. Imagine is effectively a live development environment. I tested this with a prompt for a Pomodoro timer with a customizable lo-fi playlist. I did not touch the keyboard. I watched the sidebar as Claude built the file structure, wrote the CSS, and connected the audio player. It deployed a functioning application inside the browser in 58 seconds. I ran the exact same prompt through GPT-5. It generated the code, but the audio player refused to loop, and the layout broke on mobile. Claude got the logic right on the first shot. For reasoning and complex coding, Claude 4.5 is beating OpenAI by a significant margin. The other reason this ranks so high is the projects feature. I uploaded a 200-page brand guideline PDF into a project folder. Now, every time I ask Claude to write an email, it automatically references those guidelines. It remembers your context better than any other model. The price is the standard $20 a month. The verdict? Buy it. GPT-5 is fun. Claude is for work. Number 2 is the tool that started it all. ChatGPT, now running on the fully released GPT-5 model. Why is it here if I just told you Claude is better at coding? Because while Claude is a specialist, GPT-5 is the ultimate generalist. I tested the new live vision feature against Gemini 3. I pointed my phone camera at a broken espresso machine and asked why it was leaking. I did not take a photo. I just held the camera up. Gemini struggled to focus. GPT-5 instantly identified the O-ring failure based on the water flow and verbally guided me through the repair in real time. It felt less like a search engine and more like a mechanic standing next to me. Then I tested the reasoning capabilities with the new O3 High integration. I gave it a raw CSV file with 5 years of sales data. It did not just give me a number. It generated an interactive chart and flagged a seasonality anomaly in Q3 that I had missed. It did this in 12 seconds. Claude took nearly 30 seconds for a similar task, but it is not perfect. In my writing tests, GPT-5 still has a tendency to be verbose. You still have to fight the model to get brevity. The pricing remains at $20 a month. However, be warned. The message caps on the new GPT-5 model are strict. The verdict? Buy it. If you only have the budget for one subscription, make it this one. Claude is better for deep work, but ChatGPT is better for literally everything else. And finally, the number 1 tool of 2026. This is the pattern break. It is the reason I just canceled 2 enterprise subscriptions. DeepSeek R1. For years, we accepted that smart AI had to be expensive. We assumed that if you wanted advanced reasoning, you had to pay a premium. DeepSeek R1 dismantled that assumption. I tested this head-to-head against the GPT-5 reasoning model on a complex physics simulation script. The OpenAI model solved it, but the API cost was significant. DeepSeek R1 solved the exact same problem with the same accuracy, and the logic was arguably cleaner because it shows you the entire chain of thought process transparently. But here is the math that matters. The API pricing for R1 is 55 cents per million output tokens. Compare that to the major US providers charging upwards of $15. You are getting flagship-level intelligence for a 98% discount. However, the real reason this takes the top spot is the local capability. Because DeepSeek released the model weights, I am no longer tethered to the cloud. I installed the distilled version of R1 locally on my laptop using Allama. I turned off my Wi-Fi, I fed it sensitive financial data, it crunched the numbers entirely on my hardware. 0 data privacy risk, 0 monthly fees. It is not perfect. It is dry and refuses to roleplay. But for pure logic, coding, and data analysis, it is indistinguishable from the models that cost $20 a month. We have finally reached the point where the hardware on your desk is smart enough to replace the subscription on your credit card. The verdict? Download it. If you are a developer or a data analyst, stop renting intelligence. Install this, own your data, and save your money. Let us simplify this. You do not need all 10 of these subscriptions. Here's your cheat sheet for 2026. If your budget is $0, download DeepSeek R1 for local reasoning and use the free tier of Gemini 3 for web browsing. That combination is powerful, private, and free. If you have $20 to spend, you have a decision to make. If you are a generalist needing mobile access and voice mode, buy ChatGPT Plus. It is the Swiss Army knife. However, if you are a specialist writing code or legal briefs, give that $20 to Claude 4.5. The project's feature is superior for deep work. And for the creatives, cancel your stock photo subscriptions and pay the $10 for Midjourney V7. It is the only visual tool that is currently non-negotiable. The goal for 2026 is not to have the most tools. It is to have the leanest stack that actually works. Go check your bank statement right now. If you see a charge for a generic PDF chatbot, cancel it. The foundational models I just listed do those jobs better for the price of a single subscription. If this list saved you even one bad subscription, hit subscribe. Every week, I test the latest AI tools so you do not have to. Next up, I am putting DeepSeek R1 through a brutal head-to-head against GPT-5. You will not want to miss that one. I will see you in the next video.